What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer, and word on the street is that there's some good Egyptian god support. I've kind of briefly looked at them. I'm gonna do a deep dive right now, though. We'll see what's happening. Okay. I've talked about this a long time ago, though. Is that Konami can definitely decide whenever they want to make good support. They just choose not to. I know that seems obvious, but whenever they make something really mediocre, like Warrock, like they know it's mediocre. They can make Warrocks good whenever they want. They can make literally any card in the game want because this game is ridiculous. Okay, it's just they make up the rules as they go along. It's kind of how Yu-Gi-Oh works. Okay, so let's see what's happening. The revived Sky God. Well, that sounds cool already. The activation of this card or its effects cannot be negated. Okay, nor can its effects be negated. So it's like no Ash, right? Because Ash doesn't negate effects. It negates like the activated effects. Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay. Okay. Special summon one Slifer the Sky Dragon from your graveyard. Then each player draws until they have 6 cards in their hand, which is crazy. Because you activate this during. I mean, you don't have to activate this during your opponent's draw phase or standby phase, right? Um, but you could, right? And they won't have to draw. And they won't draw any cards. And if you use your whole hand, then you're gonna draw 6 cards. And this is gonna be a big slice for the Sky Dragon. This is this is crazy. You can banish this card from your graveyard, place one monster reborn from your deck or graveyard to the top of your deck. Then, if a Divine Beast monster is in your graveyard, draw 1 card. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. Shout out to Konami. They recognize that the true name exists and it's the best Egyptian god support in the game. I never thought I'd see the day. This is what a crazy moment that we are living in here. Okay? I never thought I'd ever see them make a card that stacks a card in the deck. It just didn't seem possible. It just took the most broken support they've ever gotten ever, but by golly, they've done it. And I don't know if anyone's even noticed that because the true name is such a random card that I've tried to not break, but just use. Because it is pretty good, right? It's pretty good. So that's awesome. So you can just stack Monster Reborn, activate the true name, bring out another Slifer. You have two 12,000 attack Slifers. Come on now. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Or 6,000, excuse me. I think it's based on your hand, right? You still have a 6,000 attack body on your board. Or I guess it would be two 4,000s. In any case, it's great. I'm just glad to see that they've done something like this, okay? All right, so we're off to a hot start, honestly. Well, obviously, this card's pretty wild, right? You're bringing out a floodgate. Slifer's always been the best Egyptian god, and hasn't really been that close in terms of just raw, without all the support around it. Slifer's the best because it's a floodgate, right? Your opponent can't link climb. It's impossible. Or it's extremely difficult to bring out 4 bodies without bringing out another link monster, right? The whole idea is link climbing is that links help you get higher up. So no Celine, Crystal Harley Fibrax dies immediately. It's great. Slifer is really good. Okay, the Breaking Ruin God. That's awesome name. I really like what they've done with Obelisk. Just like the new art has just been so good. And this looked great too. The activation of this card or its effects cannot be negated, nor can its effects be negated. So there's like 3, like we're getting close to like 3 good Egyptian god cards, which is just wild. So it's just a crazy thing to say. Okay, special summon 1 Obelisk to Tormentor from your hand or graveyard. And if you do, it is unaffected by your opponent's card effects this turn. It's a quick effect. Okay. If you tribute 2 or more monsters you control at the same time to activate your card or effect while you control Obelisk to Tormentor, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Banish all monsters in your opponent's graveyard, and if you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each. Okay, well this is... Okay, I think they're trying to make Obelisk an OTK monster, right? Because isn't there... What's the Obelisk trap? Let's find that out. Obelisk trap card. Let's see if I can find it. It's this one. It's on Facebook. Hopefully this is going to tell me what it is. Okay, you can only use the first and second effect of this card once per turn. If you control an Obelisk Tormentor whose original attribute is Divine, You contribute 2 face-up monsters, except that Obelisk the Tormentor destroys as many monsters your opponent controls as possible, and if you do, inflict 4,000 damage. Okay. And then during your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add Obelisk the Tormentor from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Then immediately after this effect resolves, you can normal summon 1 Obelisk the Tormentor. You can. Okay, thank goodness. You can just add it normally. You don't have to tribute summon. So are you playing, maybe you're playing Foolish Burial Goods? Maybe? I don't know. Everyone, I don't know. When I think I saw everyone talk about how gas this was on Twitter. Well, it depends. If you're playing the Dragonoid Generator, I think you just have to. If you're going to play... I've talked about this a lot, too. I don't think the Egyptian gods are ever meant to be in the same deck. You're going to, like, deck build for them, which I think is cool. And that's... I mean, only Yu-Gi in the anime tried to chuck all 3 of them in there, and like it was only good because of the anime effects. I think normally, like when you look at the show, even traditionally, there was 3 separate duelists, and they each ran their deck for that Egyptian god. So I think this could be good, but definitely if you wanted to put all 3 together, you would never use this card, more than likely, right? You're just going to play this in an Obelisk Tormentor deck, which is fine. It's cool, right? It's whatever. If you do play it in an Obelisk deck, I think this card can be good. Now, if you and your opponent are milling a bunch of cards, if you're playing the Ishizu cards, you really don't have to banish that many, right? What do you have to banish, like 8? 8 monsters? I guess that's kind of a lot. Because if you use the trap, right, you destroy all their monsters. So you're putting 2 in there at least, like probably, or maybe 1. You're doing that quick effect burn, and then you can activate this too. And together, it's probably going to be close. Could be, especially if your opponent's playing Tier Laments. This is going to be like Tier 0, right? Your opponent's going to mill half their deck. All you have to do is activate Breaking Ruin. And even if they mill this for you, if they're playing the Shizu cards, right? This is going to be in your graveyard. Yeah, that could backfire really quickly against them, really quickly. And they don't even have Omni Negates. So that's funny. It's like specifically good against that. And look at this card. Whew. So sick. When this card is activated, add 1 Add 1 Winged Dragon of Ra or 1 card that mentions it from your deck to your hand, except the True Sun God. Or 1 card that mentions it. So that's got to be a few cards. Let's go to a card database, huh? Let's see, Yu-Gi-Oh card database. Let's find out. What is every card that mentions the Winged Dragon of Ra? Guardian Slime, I guess, is now searchable. Konami's database in my has not been the best thing for me. It also doesn't tell me OCG cards, does it? Okay, Winged Dragon of Ra. Okay, well, obviously Immortal Phoenix does, but I think that's like designed for this card. Oh, that means Spear Mode is searchable, right? Or 1 card that mentions it from your deck to your hand. The Sphere Mode is searchable. I doubt you're like I doubt you would side into this, right? I guess it does give you 6 copies, but if you draw a copy of it and then another copy in your hand, so you have 2 Winged Dragon of Ra's in your hand, Sphere Modes, it feels kind of bad. I feel like it feels kind of bad. Oops. Is that the only? That's not the only card. Yeah, Konami's card database is a bunch of boo-boo, bro. There's no way. I know Guardian Slime. I'm pretty sure it mentions it, right? Let's see. Winged Dragon of Ra. Ancient, yeah. Golly, how does Konami have the worst database in the entire Yu-Gi-Oh community, right? A lot of cards mention the Winged Dragon of Ra. Ancient Chant, which is just better, right? You would never search the Winged Dragon of Ra with this. You would search probably Ancient Chant first, which is good. Probably what it's designed for. Again, it kind of bridging the gap there. Millennium Revelation's also pretty good with the Winged Dragon of Ra because it can help you like destroy a bunch of monsters. So that can be kind of cool. Ra's Disciple is searchable now. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. So that's pretty hilarious. Some of these cards are very, very bad. This card becomes a little bit more relevant now because of that one that places, Monster Reborn at the top of the deck. So that's pretty neat. Guardian Slime it's a cool searchable card. Blaze Cannon obviously is like really, really good. These two cards. So you may end up doing a lot of this action. But it's nice that it does, like the bridge does get gapped, and I was hoping there kind of be one more to maybe place them all together, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a case, which is fine. Anyways, that's cool to have a lot. That's the first searcher in the Egyptian gods. You got to be pretty happy. Okay, you can't complain too much. All right. Okay. From your deck to your hand. Okay. Monsters, except the Winged Dragon Ra, cannot attack the turn they are special summoned. Oh no. I wish it said except the Egyptian gods, but what are you going to do? Once per turn, during your main phase, you can send this card from the field or one Winged Dragon of Ra Immortal Phoenix from your deck to the graveyard. Then send one Winged Dragon of Ra from your monster zone to the graveyard. So yeah, I think that makes the other support like that much better, right? Millennium Revelation. You can send one Divine Beast monster from your hand to the graveyard, add Monster Reborn from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Okay, you can send this card to the graveyard. This turn you can special summon the Winged Dragon Raw from your graveyard with Monster Reborn, ignoring summoning conditions. Okay, so that becomes a lot more relevant, which is good. So I'm happy. I'm happy that there's finally good support. You know, I think this has been a little overstated, the Breaking Ruin God, but I am extremely happy with the Revival Sky God. Getting one super actually good card out of it, no matter what, even though this is okay, you gotta appreciate, right? You got the 3 tributes on your opponent's side of the field, quick effect. So summoning the Egyptian gods has now become 10 times easier, which is kind of the whole point, right? And they actually do stuff now. Slifer in particular. I wish the only thing that really bothers me is that I wish the effects were opposite, right? Because the Slifer quick play spell, I think, destroys monster. And it's like, bruh, that's what Slifer does, right? Slifer the Sky Dragon. So, what is it called? Yeah, this card cannot be negated. If you control a monster, destroy as many face-up monster your opponent controls as possible. At least you get to draw cards during your turn, but I wish this one destroyed spells and traps, because it feels like Slifer's kind of got the monster destruction, down, right? At least it can't be negated, right? It is a pretty wild card. I don't know why these other ones don't have searchers yet. Still feels weird kind of the way they're structuring it, but at least each of the individuals, you can build individual decks for them now. I feel confident that there's actually a win condition for these decks, which is really, really cool to see after years and years of getting a bunch of junk. Let me know what you guys think about the support in the comment section down below. Other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I will see you guys next time.